Today is a shining example of democracy at work in the state of Connecticut. Many of us, both in the House and Senate Republican caucuses, have been fighting for years to expose and reform Connecticut's hidden tax, the gross receipts tax, which every time the price of gasoline is raised in our state, taxes on consumers across the state of Connecticut is also raised. For years we've fought to lower gas taxes, lower the price at the pump, give people relief, and for years we've been met with opposition from the majority Democrats in this legislature. Indeed, 39 days ago, Democratic leadership called our proposal to cap the gas tax a political stunt. But a lot has changed. And on Monday, Democrats finally yielded, not to what we as Republicans did, but what you as people all across the state of Connecticut have done in advocating for, in talking about the need to control gas prices and lower gasoline taxes. Thousands and thousands of people across the state of Connecticut have signed our petitions. In Stop and Shop on Monday afternoon, I'm getting out of my car and I had a guy look at me and say, "Hey, I signed your petition online. I emailed it, forwarded it to every one of my friends. Keep going, keep going, keep going." And that's what we will continue to do as Republicans. We will continue to fight for the cause of lowering taxes, giving people relief at the pumps. We will continue to put pressure on our Democratic colleagues to make good on their promise to cap the gasoline tax. We are in session until May 9th. There's no reason why, with Republican and Democrat leadership and membership in full support of this plan, we can't be in session today, tomorrow, next week, pass this into law, put it on the governor's desk so people can start seeing relief immediately. With that, I want to pass it on to the House Republican leader, Larry Cafaro.
Thank you, John. You know, there's that old adage, if at first you don't succeed, try again. And I could keep going because, as many of you have in your packets, and as we've said, over the last 4 or 5 years, we have tried on 17 occasions to cap the gas tax and give relief at the gas pump. And it has all been met with varying reaction, but all negative. And it was, as I said, I admired the Democrats the other day for admitting they were wrong and changing their mind. And I think we have to realize, you know, today I pulled up to the Capitol and that yellow light that says you're out of gas or low on gas lit up. And as soon as I see it, I know that means $70 every time I fill up my tank. I don't have an SUV. I have a Toyota Avalon with 223,000 miles on it. And every time I fill it up, it costs $70, at least now. It'll probably go higher. So people, and I do that twice a week, and there are a lot of people out there that are hurting from so many ways that the cost of everything is going up. And just to get to work or get to doctor's appointments or travel around this state to live their lives, they are incurring enormous costs just to fill up their gas tank. In fact, if you look at the difference in Connecticut, let me point to the chart. Excuse me, gentlemen, right behind you here. The total state taxes per gallon in Connecticut are 49 cents as we speak right now. 49 cents, higher than New Jersey, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Vermont, Maine, Rhode Island, and New York. We are paying 49 cents more a gallon. If you look at who's truly profiting from these gas prices, I'll point your attention to the chart over here to my left. Between federal excise tax, transportation from port to pump, credit card companies charged to the dealer, and dealer markup, all of those combined do not equal the amount of money that the state of Connecticut benefits from all taxes, including this hidden tax. Ladies and gentlemen, as I said, if you first don't succeed, try again. And we are thrilled that we're able to be here to say, thank you, Democrats, we will join you. But here's the rub. It hasn't happened yet. We have less than 49 days in this short session. We believe this is an emergency. It warrants an emergency certified bill to take action immediately. We call upon our Democratic colleagues in the House and the Senate to immediately schedule a session, to immediately approve an emergency certified bill, and make this a reality. We have some concerns with the fact that when the Democrat proposal ends, the next day, the percentage on the gross receipts tax is slated to go up from 7% to 8.1%. So if we have this sort of respite from these taxes, to have it come back again with a vengeance a year from now is something we do not believe in. And we will be fighting to make this gas tax permanent. And before I turn the mic back to Senator McKinney, I want to say this.
You mean the cap permanent?
Correct. I thought I said that, but if I didn't, I apologize. The democracy that we see by these petitions, by the people that are here, that have put pressure on their public officials to get to this day, cannot stop now. You have a building full of legislators. I implore you to buttonhole your legislators the old-fashioned way and demand that we take action on this bill immediately. The clock is ticking, and we can't afford to wait any longer. Thank you, Senator McKinney.
Thank you, Larry. You know, as we mentioned earlier, this has been a fight that we have fought and continue the fight for many years. Along the way, we've picked up a lot of new supporters and a lot of new champions in that cause. No one has picked up the cause and led the fight and brought more petitions and more people into this fight in his district in just his first term than Senator Len Suzio. Len?
Thank you, Senator McKinney, and thank you, Representative Cafaro. I want to begin by echoing Representative Cafaro's comment about persistence does pay off. Those of you who know my quest for representing the 13th District know that I was pretty persistent. It took me 4 chances, but I was eventually elected to represent the 13th District as its senator. It's something I'm very grateful to the 13th District people, and I will continue to work very hard to advocate their cause as their state senator. I also want to say one other thing, though, too, that when you talk about the Republican Party up here, it's often spoken of as the minority party. And it's spoken of as a minority party because when you count heads up here, we are in the minority. We have fewer senators than them. We have fewer representatives than them. But when the people of Connecticut are clamoring and they want their voices to be heard up in Hartford, they need a voice to articulate their position, and when the Republican Party represents what the will of the people of Connecticut is, we are no longer the minority party. We are the majority party. Clearly, Connecticut is one of the highest tax states in the country, and unequivocally, we are the highest tax state when it comes to gasoline taxes. No one beats us, especially as the price of gas continues to go up. Now, last July, when I initiated the drive to limit the gross receipts tax, I was told, forget it. There's no way the Democratic Party would ever vote to cap a tax with no limit to it. Not only would they not vote for it, I was told they wouldn't even hold public hearings on it. You see, the party that calls themselves the party of the people doesn't even want to listen to the people. That's what's made the difference in this campaign. And as the Romans would say, a funny thing happened on the way to the Capitol. Now, 8 months after, and thousands of petition signatures, we estimate that we've got between well over 4,500 approaching 5,000, and I know there's many petitions out there in the hands of gas station owners who are still circulating them that are completely filled out that we haven't even counted yet. When we represent the people of Connecticut, we are doing the will of the people of Connecticut, and it cannot be resisted. And that's our job as a Republican Party. Now, aside from signing these thousands of petitions, we had people calling the governor and calling the state representatives and senators, and there were countless phone calls, I know it, and countless emails, too, to senators and representatives. And basically, after hearing the voice of the people to the point where the people shouted loud enough they couldn't be ignored, the Democrats heard the people's voice, and they felt the people's pain. Now, on Monday, after months of basically inventing every possible excuse, real and imagined, to denounce the cap on gasoline, our Democratic friends have embraced it. Thank God they've seen the light, and they do support the cap on gas. At the conference, I noticed they went to all sorts of lengths. At the press conference on Monday, when they announced their change in position, I know they went to all sorts of lengths to comfort the taxpayers that as long as Connecticut was suspending its own tax gouging policies, it wouldn't be tolerating anybody else price gouging either. I'm certain it gives us all a great deal of comfort to know that the people who are practicing tax gouging are now watching the people who practice price gouging. Now, some people have downplayed the significance of this beginning. Right now it saves, as people have noted in the press, approximately 2 cents per gallon. But let's just put this in the perspective of the context of the situation. To begin with, when was the last time we ever heard of reducing taxes in Connecticut? This is Con no Tax-a-Cut, not Taxachusetts. And so, number one, you got to keep in mind that the history of the state, the last time we had a cut of any kind was way back when with a Republican governor. So I think it's a big victory, and it's turning the ship of state around just to get any kind of a tax cut. Again, without the cap on gas taxes, there would be no limit to the growth of the petroleum gross receipts tax. And if gas were to hit $5 a gallon, the PGRT would be about 31 cents a gallon. That would suck an extra $165 million out of the wallets of Connecticut gas Connecticut gas purchasers in comparison to what was budgeted for. That would suck. All right, Representative. He always has a line. We collect, the state of Connecticut collects $15 million for every extra penny of gas taxes that we impose. So providing relief in the form of capping the gas tax will provide a significant savings to us as we go into the summer months and gas prices continue to rise. Representative Cafaro did a great job of pointing out to you how we compare to other states. Who, again, would have ever thought that we'd look wistfully at Massachusetts and wish our taxes were as low as theirs? 31 cents a gallon if we go up to $5 a gallon gas without the cap, and Massachusetts is fixed in at 23.5 cents. So I do want to thank the Democratic leadership for repenting of their ways and seeing the light. But as Representative Cafaro and Senator McKinney pointed out, they announced their intention to do this. It hasn't been done yet. And in my opinion, and I think in the opinion of the Republican caucus, it can't be done fast enough. We need that relief now. Not 2 months from now, but now. And while we're at it, I would like to see us change it just slightly from a temporary relief from tax gouging to permanent relief from tax gouging. So let's push to permanently limit the gas tax in Connecticut so we don't face another catastrophe next July 1st when not only the cap would expire, but as Representative Cafaro and Senator McKinney just pointed out, the gross receipts tax is scheduled to increase again by 15%, from 7.1% to 8.1%. I love to see how the Democratic leadership would respond to the double whammy of removing the cap and the increase in the rate itself. Connecticut taxpayers have been oppressed for far too long. We've turned the ship around. This is the first step in what will be a series of victories for Connecticut taxpayers, and it's, again, only the first step. We have some exciting plans which we're going to continue to introduce in the House and in the Senate. I'll be happy to talk to you about at least one of my ideas, the 242 plan that I told people about. But today is a day to celebrate for the people of Connecticut. It's the people's victory that we have at least turned the ship of state around. We've reversed the never-ending escalation of taxes in the state of Connecticut. We've begun a step towards changing and reducing our taxes. I want to thank everybody that signed the petitions. There were thousands of people who not only signed them, but there were dozens and dozens of people who circulated them. I want to thank the gas station owners who were out there helping out too. I want to thank my fellow legislators who were tremendous. Senator McKinney was awesome supporting me in this, and Representative Cafaro. And we got to keep the pressure on, though. This hasn't been passed yet, and we won't rest until it has. Thank you very much.